Today, we're going to talk about asking your people when you have a question or a need or something that you really just want to get more opinions on. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Jane. It's not the clinic management software that I use currently to keep my practice running smoothly, but when I owned a practice, I did. So let's talk about something that can be a little bit uncomfortable, raising your fees. I know this is something that might feel awkward to some, but it doesn't have to. With the bit of planning and care, you can handle it in a way that feels right for you and your patients. One tip is to give yourself at least 2 months to prepare. That gives you time to get comfortable with the change and letting your patients know exactly what's happening. You can share the news through emails, booking reminders, or just a little friendly sign inside your clinic. And avoid over-apologizing. Instead, keep it straightforward and matter of fact. Keeping things consistent across all the ways you communicate can really help avoid confusion. Fee increases aren't always easy, but you're not on your own here. For more tips and ideas on how to communicate these changes with confidence, check out frontdesk.jane.app and look for the article, How to Tell Clients You're Raising Your Fees. And if you're curious about Jane's pricing plans, you can explore them at jane.app/pricing. Their plans are simple with no surprise fees or binding contracts. Oh, and also, if you are ready to give Jane a try, you can use my code LEX1MO for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. That's LEX1MO. And to speak for pricing changes, I will tell you, I've been through that, done the thing, both in my practice and this business here. And inside the practice, it was super easy to do because of Jane. So highly recommend Jane. As always, go check them out. Lex1MO gets you 1 month grace period on your new account. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am excited to be recording this for you today. I have one really, fun announcement. I won't say the whole spiel right now because it's going to come up in a second. And then going to chit chat about something I experienced last week that I just want to share with you because I do think that it was helpful not only for me, but, I do feel like I wish more people would take advantage, or I should say work with the people that are already in their community who care so much about them. So before we jump in, personal business updates, personal stuff. Shantae and I are going on an unexpected trip, and I'll talk about how I handled that in a second, but we're going on an unexpected trip with our volleyball coach and his now wife to go see Kenny Chesney in concert. So that will be really fun. That ended up falling on an SEO school day for a coaching call. And I ended up I scheduled in a bonus call that didn't seem to work because I went from a Wednesday to a Monday. So handled that on my end by just booking in another bonus call on a Wednesday. I will tell you that if you're listening to this and you're in the current cohort of SEO school, as you already know, I never plan to run this summer cohort, so I'm making the most of it as far as what dates I have open for the calls. So I'm making all the Wednesdays work as I can. But because this was added in, it does create some complications on my end. But also, and this goes for anybody running anything, this program is 6 months long. So 6 months is difficult when life happens. So, I actually contemplated saying no to going with Shantae and the volleyball coach and his wife because I was like, I don't think I can do that. Like, I don't want to host the call while I'm in a hotel room and on my laptop, my tiny ass laptop screen. And I was like, and I don't want to reschedule this call. And I sat with it for a decent chunk of time and was like, okay, I do believe that anybody who is in SEO school would tell me that to go, and then obviously I will make it up to them in some way, shape, or form. So if you ever have something that comes up and you have something scheduled, I do think that people will understand and they get it, and they want you to obviously enjoy life, because that's the whole point. So yeah, overall, I'm really excited for the trip. It's unexpected, was not planned, was asked, a couple weeks ago, and making the most out of it, doing what I can for SEO school as far as making up the call on another Wednesday. And yeah. Other personal stuff, nothing really as far as differences. I feel like everything is same old, which is always a good thing. As you know, if you listen to this podcast, like I thrive on, routine. So knowing that we have the routine going and nothing is different is obviously the best. We had a special guest, UC Logic UC visited this past weekend, and Moose was in her glory because she gave Moose so much love. And other than that, nothing big. Business wise, I am going to be sending today an email to my previous SEO school cohorts to let them know about the SEO Inner Circle being open for enrollment. It is my new membership for SEO implementation and coaching. And then I will be trying to think of what else I've got on the docket here. I feel like nothing else right now. Just, chugging away on SEO updates, SEO school updates, and restructuring some things on the back end. So today I want to talk about using or implementing, if you will. Actually, before I get started in that, let me back up. Before I jump into that, I want to let you know that starting next week, every other week, until the first week of July, so mostly it's just the end of May and June, going to be having another mid-roll podcast ad. So likely after personal and business updates, I'm going to hit you with an ad. And if you listen to this podcast, you know that I have talked about this previously of being like, I don't love having ads in the middle of the show. And I did sit with whether or not I wanted to say yes or no to this company that you'll hear about next week. And they're giving me a trial. Now, if they don't appreciate a small audience and I don't get any sales for them, I don't know if I will stay on their, like, we're going to put an ad in the mid-roll of your podcast team. I don't know. They're not paying me any money. They gave me product to try out, and I'm going to honestly try out that product and let you know how I feel about it. If I hate it, then I might send the product back and get the contract revoked. I don't know if that's possible, but regardless, I'm really excited about it because I was approached. I did not reach out to them. So I am going to be trialing this product for my podcast, mid-roll podcast ad. That also means that I'm not talking about it on social. So for anyone who is not aware of like how working with companies works, Danielle Pacente did a whole talk on this with Enchanté's Maestro Mafia probably 2 years ago. And I recently talked to her about a different sponsorship that I was approached about, and the terms were like not what I needed and worked for me. So if you are ever looking for sponsorship stuff, just know that like if they're paying you or if they're expecting a podcast ad, you're not going to talk about it on Instagram. Like that's a different investment for them, and they need to pay you differently. Unless that's part of your contract. But for me, the contract that I signed was a mid-roll podcast ad, and giving anything more than that would then, I'm not abiding within the contract, but also I'm not getting paid for the real estate that they're being given. So you will hear that ad next week. I get it. Like podcast ads can be annoying. And I had a couple people I talked to and they were like, and I also say it, like I listen to podcasts, and when ads come on, my first thought is like, oh, another ad. And then, honestly, what I say is like, get that money. Like, I think it's great that people have ads, and I'm not just saying that because I'm going to have one. I think that having podcasts, people reach out to you to sponsor your podcast. It does feel really good, even though like I have a very small audience, and I'm so grateful for every single person who listens to this podcast. And if that company decides to compare me to someone who gets, hundreds of thousands of downloads an episode, obviously it's not going to work out. And like, I don't want that audience, honestly. And I'm very grateful for my small audience and lovely, committed, amazing audience. So if they recognize that, amazing. If not, then this trial period will be a trial period and it'll go bye-bye after that. Like, it's totally fine with me. They're great to work with so far. And the contract terms, all the communication was really nice. So I have nothing but good things to say so far. And that's amazing. Like, I love being able to speak highly of other companies. So we'll see what happens. And I'm excited. So feel free to listen to the podcast episode next week and you will know who that is. And like I said, I'm pretty excited about it. So yeah. So now let's jump into the episode. Last week I posed a question to my audience. So if you have been listening, you know that I've been going through some health stuff and trying to figure out what the heck is going on with my gut and having a skin reaction and in the midst of all of that, like I talked about this from November until March, I was consuming a lot of whey protein, like a lot. And I say this because, and I'm going to say it, I don't want to cook food in the middle of the day. Like I will, and Shantae and I will eat like salads. We will eat lunch every once in a while in the middle of the day. But to be honest with you, there are days where I just want to walk downstairs, make a protein shake and call it a day. And when I say make a protein shake, it's not a smoothie. It's not like hiding stuff underneath peanut butter and whatever else you want to toss in there. It's literally just water, orange juice, and vanilla protein. And so I love doing that because it's easy for me. I can walk down, it's done really quick. Like it is the best in my mind. So I wanted to be able to do that. And when this whole like rash face stuff came about, gut stuff came about, one of the things that Shantae and I talked a lot about was the fact that I likely had some sort of sensitivity to whey. I went and got tested for dairy allergy. They send that out to see what protein I'm actually allergic to. It came back elevated, but literally like if the normal was 0.1, mine was like normal was like 0.1, mine was 0.12. Like it was just abnormal. So anyway, I'm saying this because I also understand that like in my mind, I should have had whey protein before I went and got that test, because then we could actually see what my immune system was doing. But regardless, it was elevated, and any sort of low grade inflammation over a long period of time can then compound into a lot more than what you ever possibly could handle, which is likely what happened to me. So with all of that being said, I have been on this or trying to drink this pea protein BS. It's from the same company that our other protein is from. And I freaking love that protein, the whey protein we have. I love it. However, I just don't like this pea protein. I am like choking it down. I don't want it. I don't make the protein shakes with it because I don't like the taste of it. And I'm not someone who like, I don't need to be entertained with food, but I also don't need to torture myself. Like I'm all set. I think it's it's ridiculous to have to torture myself to drink something or eat something. So I've tried to hide it in different types of stuff as far as like water. And then I'm using water and orange juice, and it just tastes like peas, and I don't like it one bit, which is so annoying. So with that being said, I think that how do I word this? I think that there's value, I guess, in like how you do things and how you want to do things. And I could definitely make like a smoothie and probably hide the taste entirely, but I don't want that. I want ease. I want to be able to come down and make a shake. And I think that I could try proteins in different ways. And I was like, you know what? Instead of going and trying a bunch of vegan proteins, why don't I ask my people what vegan proteins they like? So I went on Instagram, put a question box up, and anybody who responded, I truly, truly appreciate your responses, because I have them all, and I'm going to try the ones that were recommended the most first and then go from there. But regardless, I want to just say to you, sometimes I feel like we don't lean on the people who care about us enough. And like, we're not asking the people who care about us their opinion or for their help or for their input enough. And I will tell you, like most things, I know that people find me now in like 2025, but if you are just finding me and you're not familiar with my story, I have been in Shantae's ecosystem since 2018. So most of the business things that I've learned have been from her. I have not invested in business coaching outside of, Shantae's ecosystem. And I am like, clearly it's been very beneficial and I'm A-okay with that. However, I always say like, I learned this from Shantae. So I did learn this from Shantae. She will say in her Instagram intensive all the time to ask your people what they want, ask your people how they're doing, ask your people their opinion, have people give their feedback, have them help you build the thing. And, I decided I was going to ask my people, like, can you please help me find something? Because there has to be someone in my ecosystem, on my Instagram, who knows some sort of decent vegan protein without me having to go try out a bunch of things. And the message here, and like, I'm not going to be on my soapbox for too long. The message here is to take advantage of the fact that like, I don't want to say I don't like the verbiage take advantage. Collaborate. Be ready to collaborate with your people. Be okay with collaborating with your people. Ask your people, ask the people who care about you. Ask the people who want to help you whenever you can. If you are struggling with something, if you're not sure if you should do something or shouldn't do something, if you're looking for a recommendation for a restaurant or somewhere to go, or if you're looking for a vegan protein, I promise you people will help you out, even if you think it's such a random, obscure ask. Like, sure, there are things that you probably shouldn't ask online or in your emails, but if you have an ask that people can give their opinion and help with, people love to help. And I cannot express how helpful it was to ask everyone what their favorite thing was, because then I also was able to screenshot that and share it with other people who were asking me to share the results because they had the same problem. So it just creates this domino effect of let's just help other people. And I went even further because then yesterday, you will see I'm going to start answering some questions that people have, but I also put in my stories the other day. I was like, I would love your help on something, because contrary to popular belief, when I put message boxes in my stories for like, ask me anything, I don't get a ton of responses. I love the ones that I get. And also I think the assumption is that I get hundreds. I don't, I get very few. And I was like, I feel like the people who wanted to help with the vegan protein situation would love to help here as well. And so I put the question box up and I got so many responses. And I had just said, like, I'm going to channel the same energy that I got with the vegan protein recommendations. And everybody came through. And I was so, so grateful, because I'm going to be using the things that they said to me in different ways. And I'm really excited about it. So thank you so much if you did answer those questions I put up. But this is just me letting you know that I believe if you have a question, or if you're considering something, or if you need help, or if you want an opinion, go ahead and ask whoever you can, whether it be your patients. So it's in a newsletter out to all your patients. Is it on Instagram? Is it, on Facebook? Be careful on Facebook. Is it on your podcast? Ask for help from people who care about you and people who want to help you, because people do want to help, even if it's something obscure that you feel like is not a reasonable ask, I guess, like vegan protein. For me, I am so grateful that I asked the question, and that would be what I want you to take away from this. Ask your people, because people love to help. And honestly, it makes me feel so good to have so many people who were so willing to share their recommendations. So thank you again so much. Okay, friends, that's all I've got for you today. I will chat with you next week. Again, keep your eye out for that new mid-roll podcast ad. Let me know what you think. If you hate it, let me know. If you already work with them or try them, amazing. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. And as always, being open and honest with everyone who listens to the podcast. Like, this is how I went about making the decision. I wanted to make sure the values were aligned. I wanted to make sure that the trial period made sense. And yeah, I'm just excited for it. So As always, thank you so much for listening. I know that you could literally be doing anything else and you choose to listen to this podcast. So thank you so much. I will catch you next week.